What's going on, guys? I'm Diles46 with Intrigue Airsoft, and today we're joined by my buddy
Drew Misfit Wilson. What's up, motivators?
There it is, man. Hey, real quick before we get into this episode of Diles46 Straight Talk, Drew's in Kansas City this weekend. He's having Operation Doubloon number 4. Is this going to be the last one?
This is going to be the last one.
Last one. If you guys haven't hit up a doubloon op before, this is the first one he's had not at the TA field in Oklahoma, right? Mm-hmm. So it's the first off-site one. They're kind of getting out of their element, but they want to go out with a bang. So if you guys are looking for something to do this weekend, definitely check out Op Doubloon 4. It's going to be hosted at the MAC up in Lawson, Missouri. Anyways, this is going to be the Instagram edition. If you guys aren't following me on Instagram, make sure you follow the link. I'll put it up right here for you. And in the past, I've looked at questions that you guys have left in previous episodes of Straight Talk, but I thought we would do it straight from Instagram this time. Just go down the row on, dude. Let's go from the top.
Sounds good.
Go ahead and hit that first one, dude. Zero the Rat.
Zero the Rat. Cost Pride or UFS War Machine?
Seriously, bro?
Cost Pride, baby.
Yeah, I'm joking.
Yeah, I was like, oh!
Yeah. For you guys that haven't done an American Milsim op, for the most part, it seems like, especially in the Kansas City area, most of the guys always run cross. St. Louis, when you get to the other side of Missouri, there's some guys that do UFS, but for the most part in the Kansas City area, it's always cost. So I just roll with the home team boys. Oklahoma's kind of on the fence, man.
Yeah, Oklahoma, Texas. There's a split community. A lot of guys go UFS. A lot of guys in the Oklahoma City area support the cost commander Greg Anderson, who is not only a great leader, but a good friend. And if you guys can fight for cost, do it.
Do it. There it is, man. WTF Zalex, okay, is asking, how can I make my AEG as powerful as a P-Star, as a Polar Star, or close to it? I guess to answer that question, how can I make my AEG as powerful as a Polar Star? It already is, to be honest, man. So,
yeah, in the teching world, there's a lot of different things you can do, so that's just going to open up a whole mess of beans that we don't have enough time for. So.
Right. Yeah, but real quick, we're going to move on to the next one. Don't ever get down on yourself because you're playing against a Polar Star. There's a couple Polar Stars on the other team, dude. Your AEG will do work just like that Polar Star will, so crank on that trigger, get to squeezing, man. Don't be afraid.
Be aggressive.
Be
aggressive. Oh, what is the number one thing that grinds your gears in Airsoft? This is from Foxhole_Airsoft_squad.
Foxhole Airsoft Squad. What grinds your gears in Airsoft?
The number one thing.
The number one thing. You got something? If you got it, go ahead, man. I got so many.
Oh, I do too.
Obviously we don't want shruggers out there, or any cheaters or things like that, but my biggest pet peeve, dude, is blind firing. I cannot stand blind firing. If you're not man enough to get behind your barrel, I mean, maybe not behind your sights, but to see your target before you pull that trigger, Airsoft might not be for you, man. Man up, get behind your gun, commit to that shot, play it safe. Blind firing is literally for cowards.
Yeah, take a few hits, it'll make you a better player.
And a man.
Companies trying to better themselves by kind of marketing PTSD. That really makes me mad.
Yeah, and we're seeing a lot of that, especially with some game promoters, things like that. And that's all good and well, man. PTSD awareness is awesome, and supporting it and knowing about it is a thing. But
don't try to make money off of it.
What is your favorite gun? We were joking about this earlier. My favorite gun is one that works and shoots reliably. So, what do you got?
It'd probably have to be my Bro Drab 416, the limited edition from Elite Force. Thing is still bone stock. Thing is still bone stock. It hasn't failed me yet. I've used the dog crap out of it. So. All
right. If there was one gun to rule them all, this is my stock Tokyo Marui AK-47. It's been running for close to 11 years now. It's plastic, it creaks, but it's got that magical Japanese rubber hop up in there. The BBs just sell, dude, and it's dependable. I know I can pick it up, throw a battery in it, and it's ready to rock and roll. So if there's one gun to rule them all, if I had to throw them all away and only keep one, it would be this one. But again, it goes back to it works and it's dependable. So that's the deal on that.
From JB.
It used to work.
Alright, the next one comes from JBR2194. What is the best DMR build you have seen?
Is there a best? I don't know, man. DMR is a very niche thing.
Yeah.
For sure. At the end of the day, would I rather have an AEG that maybe 15, 20 foot outrange, but I have more capacity and is a little more versatile to fire back at that DMR, I'd take the AEG, to be honest. So I'm not a DMR guy; it's a very niche thing. But again, if I had to answer that one, I would say personally the spring powered bolt action sniper rifles out there, DMRs. Airsoft DP. Legit question, man. Keeping it clean, keeping it simple. Gas blowback rifle or AEG? What do you think, man?
Again, that's where you get into the niches. It depends on what you're doing. If you're using it to play or using it to train. If you're using it to train, gas blowback all day. If you're using it to play and you're a very aggressive player, then go with AEG. Now, if you're a very strict Milsim player, then gas blowback's the way to go. But then you start getting into, limited mag capacity. The lack of being able to use buddy mags.
When you get into a gas primary, like a LM4, KWA LM4, something like that, yeah, you're shooting yourself in the foot mag capacity. The weight of the mags is pretty ridiculous. The gas consumption is another thing. You're essentially going to be limited to semi-auto only. Full auto, you're gonna blow all your gas out before you might even get all the BBs out. Yeah, it's another niche thing. I think it's very satisfying. Gas guns are very cool. The recoil is cool. The action's cool. You know what I mean? The bolt blowing back and forth. But it's a very niche thing, and it's one of those things you got to commit to for sure. It's very finicky. You got to make sure you maintain it. And you got to make sure that you're committed to sacrificing some of those leisures that come with the AEG that you're not going to have with a gas rifle. Lots of fun, finicky, very satisfying. For me personally, AEG.
Yeah, I'd have to go with AEG.
Apollo_Bigfoot asks, what's the best DMR platform to build off of? Again, without going too far into that one, depending on what you want to do, make sure you do your own research out there. Do you want to go AEG? Do you want to go Ep.8? Do you want to go Spring? The cheapest is going to be Spring. And I think you'll get the most bang for your buck out of a Spring. It's simple, stupid, less breaking parts, less moving parts. So as far as being efficient and durable in the idea that it's not, a lot going on than a Spring.
Yeah, just to add to that, I mean, it's still a niche market because, I mean, you've got guys that don't have really deep pockets and you've got impressionists.
Right.
And there's tons of DMRs, out there to build off of, so it's what you make it.
All right, here we go. Villain Opper. It's my boy Vince here from Kansas City. What's the next 5 years of Airsoft look like? Products, rules, format changes. Ooh, that's good stuff.
It's very
what
good
I've
stuff.
seen coming out lately, it's like these 68 caliber BBs. They're hollow and they're filled with paint, and a lot of people think that that's the future. So,
Bruh.
it's paintball I'm talking about.
I know. Bruh.
The future, man. A couple years ago, people were talking about HPA. They were just kind of up and coming. People were skeptical about them. You heard good things, you heard bad things. Here we are a couple years later, and I mean, they're definitely, it's not taken over like some people predicted, but it's out there. You're seeing a lot of Polar Stars, a lot of, your Valken engines out there, all kinds of HPA type stuff out there. You got your Titmans are on the market now. Those are a lot of fun to shoot. The recoil on those are pretty dope. I don't think there's going to be a huge significant change. What do you think, man?
Well, this past year I had the pleasure of going to SHOT Show and got to see some of the stuff that's coming out for this year, or that's going to hit the market this year or possibly next year. And a lot of the new stuff is just, redesigned, retweaked versions of what was old. I mean, with Airsoft technology expanding, it's hard to, really see where the future's going to head. But one thing I can say is the future's going to look bright.
Yeah. People. There's a lot of innovation going on out there for sure. Going back to that, like the Scorpion Evo, that gearbox is amazing. Have you had a chance to shoot one yet?
I did. That thing's crazy.
The things that I would like to see personally, it's just simple, stupid stuff that goes into any, and this is pertaining to AEGs, is quick change spring option on the back of the gearbox. That should be standard. Make that standard. Why do I have to open up the gearbox, change the spring? That's stupid. ICS was getting close there with the split gearboxes on, and that was cool. But just give me a bolt in the back of the gearbox so I can change the spring. The other thing that I've seen is there's some companies out there that'll give you a whole gear system that's kind of on a chassis, or you know what I mean, and you just drop that in there. That's cool. So you can just change out all three gears real quick.
Yeah.
Things like, I think user anything that's going to make it easier to work on your gun. That's what I'd like to see, and we're seeing it. It's getting there.
Yeah, and we're in a lot of these gun platforms are starting to use like the NS2 systems from KWA. Like KWA is putting out a lot of gas blowback products, as well as VFC is doing it as well.
VFC, man, yeah.
Some good stuff there.
Yeah, really good stuff. Yeah, I mean, hell, let's be honest, the Tokyo Marui version 2 gearbox and version 3s, that everything was cloned off of essentially, except for, the proprietary stuff. It's great. It's the workhorse of Airsoft, and it's still gonna be around for another decade for sure. But people are making additions to it that make it a lot easier, so that's good to see.
Rules. That was the second part of that question. Rules. There's a lot of new stuff coming out and a lot of redesigned stuff. I mean, American Milsim with their medic drag rule or the bandage rule. That a lot of guys are starting to use that. I know from Misfits Airsoft that we're starting to implement it. Maybe not a 4-foot bandage, but some sort of bandage. Shout out to Mayo from Index Milsim. He had a pretty cool idea about the armor rules.
Yeah.
So if you guys get a chance, go to Index Milsim, check out the armor rules.
Yeah, essentially your respawns were dictated by how much armor you were wearing, helmet, plate carriers, things like that. That was good stuff, yeah.
And then a shout out to Milsim West for implementing blank firing rifles for immersion.
That's neat. Yeah, that's neat.
So I mean, some of these smaller companies, if they start doing that, I mean, the rules are going to get a little bit more strict. However, the experience from that is going to just grow and grow and grow, like it has been.
And thankfully, for the most part, over the growth of the rules and the molding of the rules, everyone's pretty much on the same page across the country, across the nation, here in the U.S. So it's been good to kind of see everybody on the same page. Now that's pretty much talking about Milsim. But as far as like average rules and things like that go, I think stuff's pretty set in stone, to be honest. There's not really too many ways to tweak the game of BB Wars.
Yeah, I think it kind of goes down into like different regions, because I know the Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas City, Kansas area.
Little tweaks, yeah, little variances.
We all have similar rules. I mean, like for the field I work at, TA, the zero engagement distance is anything that shoots 350 or less. Isn't that the rule at the MAC as well?
Yeah, no MED.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, so, and that, I think it's maybe not rules, but as far as like the game changing goes, I remember 10 years ago we would have never thought of rounding corners and blasting each other point blank. Like, what are you serious? That's unheard of, you know what I mean? And you still get a lot of these guys that come from, smaller regions around the bigger cities, and they come in and they get bloody welts. Like, hey man, I got shot right here, you need to crown that dude. It's like, no man, like 300 feet per second, we'll break skin at close range. So I seeing people kind of get over their fear of the close hit has made Airsoft a lot more enjoyable for me personally, especially with Intrig Airsoft being CQB. So it's cool to see kind of a whole community go from playing outdoors, taking those 50, 60, 70 foot plus shots, considering that pretty close in, to like rounding a corner and blasting somebody, 10 feet away. So
and format changes, that kind of ties in with the rules and national event promoters. Right. I mean, I think they're setting the bar pretty high for the local guys that throw ops. Like formats, I'm a huge fanboy of American Milsim. That's always been known. But for doubloon, I mean, for any op I throw, even if it's a TA op, I kind of model it off the AMS format. So whatever changes they make,
they're a trendsetter.
Yeah.
Yeah. The MAC here locally, up in Lawson, they've gone to semi-auto only, no full auto unless you're a saw gunner. So that was something kind of derived from AMS format change too. So yeah, man.
I think AMS kind of got it off of Black Sheep too.
Did they? Was that a Black Sheep thing?
I think that was a Black Sheep
Mr. Warren. Thing. Okay. All right. Right on, man. Yeah. So there you go. Little tweaks and stuff, but I don't see the game getting turned on its side anytime soon. It's still shooting BBs. Real Vice asks, how do you feel about the growth of the sport in the Central region? Central region, I imagine he's talking about like the Midwest here in Mid-America. It's going good, man. I think it's going great.
I mean, in my opinion, I think we're setting the bar.
Yeah.
I mean, because if you look at the East Coast and the West Coast, they're two way different opposite freaking genres.
They really are, yeah.
I mean, California, you got a lot of speed soft or speed QB or whatever you call it.
Whatever.
East Coast, like down at SS Airsoft, that's not speed soft. It's CQB.
Yeah.
So I mean, East Coast, I'd say, is focused more on CQB, California. I mean,
well, it's a lot of different field offerings too.
Yeah, it's
you
true.
know what I mean.
It's true.
SS sit there's up like a small mini town, so you really can't speed soft in there. To whereas you go to a place like Tax City where it's set up like a speed soft place.
You need to throw BBs down range.
Right, man. Throw a handful of BBs. So I think the field offerings kind of dictate that a little bit too. But yeah, as far as the growth, centrally, man, I'm trying to think how old my daughter's gonna be this year. 'Cause that's what I'm gonna start playing Airsoft. She's gonna be 14 years. I've seen it grow in 14 years from an email chain, an email group that you'd sign up for, and they'd throw out an email, like on a Monday saying, hey, this weekend we're getting together to go play at a paintball field, to going from that to having actual forums and groups and clubs pop up, and then, actually having dedicated airsoft fields, to having, straight up not sharing with paintballers, like this is airsoft, dig it, like it, that's what we're doing, and then having like Intrigue Airsoft in places like the MAC and CMA and some other fields that have popped up around the area, just here in Kansas City. And I think it's pretty much the same menu as far as options in Oklahoma City.
Yeah, I mean, in Oklahoma City, in the metro area, there's only 2 fields. We've got ours down in Norman. Stockyard Airsoft has a 250,000 square foot indoor facility. It's 2 stories. It's great if you like room clearing, very aggressive play, very fast-paced play. Then we also have a new indoor opening up in our store, which is dedicated to the younger crowd that isn't ready for stockyards. So I mean, you're talking like 8 to 12, low power AEGs, little Springer pistols. I mean, so dedicated airsoft fields, I'd love to see more of them pop up. Just because the paintball crowd doesn't really understand airsoft all that much. I watched a video of a live thing recently.
Yeah. And
guy was bringing up some good points, but it's a different market than paintball.
Yeah.
I mean, not everyone's gonna wear a full mask.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And right.
The conversions between joules and velocity, from going from a .63 to a .2, it's different. So I mean, like, for instance, if you go to a paintball field and try to chrono with their chrono that's set up, for 6.3.
Right.
You might be shooting super hot for a paintball. For airsoft, you might be shooting, like 300.
Right. Yeah, it's a whole different world.
So that's why I encourage you guys to go to dedicated airsoft fields.
Support your airsoft fields, not your paintball fields. I know that's harsh.
Yeah, it is.
I know that's harsh, man, but here's the deal. Guys like myself and Drew and a lot of other cats around here putting our neck on the line to solely promote airsoft. Back us up, man. That's all we ask. Back us up.
Yep.
And then last, man, this is the hard-hitting question we saved for the end. Mr. Cody Smith. All right, you ready? Big League Chew or bubble tape? Big League Chew or bubble tape?
How about we do 1, 2, 3, and we both say what we think?
Do we got to pick one or the other? I mean, that's the way the man set it up. Big League Chew or bubble tape?
I mean, I know my personal choice.
All right. On 3?
Yeah, on 3.
On 3 or after 3? So 1, 2 answer or 1, 2, 3 answer?
1, 2, 3 answer.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Bubble tape. Yeah?
Oh yeah!
Alright! I'm one of those assholes that like takes the bubble tape and just takes a fucking bite out of the side of it and then puts it back in the protector. Yeah, so there it is, guys. My buddy, Mr. Drew Wilson, Misfit 1, Oklahoma City.
That's right, guys. Be sure to subscribe to Intrigue Airsoft. Follow his Facebook page. If you guys want to follow me on Instagram or YouTube, Instagram is @Drew_Misfit1, and YouTube is just look up Misfit.
We'll get the links in the section below, guys. All right, rock and roll. We'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching, guys.
Fire!